realized very strongly that there is that need to re-strategize and rebuild. So in this process, we asked ourselves, where will the growth come from? What will we be known for? And we identified three main areas that the growth will come from. And I will begin with the first, which relates to where we are seated. If the opportunity for local conference and leisure tourism is growing, which it is, then there is a clear justification for retaining and even growing your share in the hospitality or hotel industry. So that's one clear opportunity. And we say there's an opportunity for conference and leisure tourism around Mount Kenya region, and inevitably for enhancing the south coast, that whole area of Diani, Kiwegu offering, which means that even there's a very big opportunity for something different from both a conference and real estate perspective. Why that specific area? Because the roads are being done up now, so that area has been opened up. So there, again, as we said, you invested wisely in terms of the good assets. This is one of those. Another area was financial services. And here we singled out two, where we said insurance. And this because first, in terms of the reach of insurance, when we look at it, very few Kenyans have insurance. So there's a good opportunity there. At the same time, the fact that we are many means that we can get insurance for a lower price and a lot more easier. So that's one of the easy things to do. From a personal loan and business loan perspective, that's another thing, that many of you have the financing needs. You have businesses that require financing support. So that one is a natural one. And we said innovative insurance, provision of insurance, and lending that is driven by technologies. Because one of the realizations was previously you actually used to do lending but had branches, across quite a bit of the country, which was very expensive. So we are now saying, let's also be economical and use the available technology. And again, you've been very innovative from a technology standpoint. The other area was real estate, which you already play in, and we realized housing, affordable housing as a big four pillar for the 3-year period, which is what we are looking at as the turnaround period, is going to be very, very relevant. So it's an area that is, since you're already in it, it's easy to play in. So when we look at it, for instance, you already have land available and there are partners who would like to develop, then it becomes very easy to move from just selling land to selling housing. So the opportunity there is affordable housing and supported by financing, because you already have a financing company that we've just spoken about. One of the questions that I mentioned that we asked ourselves was, what is FEP known for? And we said FEP has to be known for something specific. And that's what gave rise to the 5 flagship projects. And the 5 flagship projects, I'll go through each of them systematically. The first one was a relaunch of the financial services. And here we are looking at a combined or consolidated FEP finance business. We called it the combined or consolidated FEP microfinance. That one is a matter of priority and has been scheduled for March 2019. Notice there are clear commitments with dates. So March 2019. What is your expectation? By March 2019, you'll have been communicated to, you'll have heard about the relaunch. The second is the launch of this hotel as a 4-star hotel by June 2019. And you'll note a lot of the whole aspect of re-strategizing and rebuilding focuses on 2019. That's a key year, and I'll be coming to that and emphasizing it. And that is focused on the whole aspect of finishing what we started and also strengthening it so that it gives the returns that are required. We're also looking at the launch of the insurance agency. Now, this is one of the high potential businesses. You will recall at the beginning, I spoke about good businesses that were invested in, but they were never given that full lease of life to get the very most from them. And this is one of those that we are looking at. And we are saying, given all the other work that has to be done, by September 2019, then all of you will be able to benefit from a relaunched and very well-run insurance agency. Again, this is one of those that will use a lot of technology. So rather than opening branches throughout the country, is really making sure that it's driven by technology. For Kisima Real Estate, which carries a lot of the value that we have spoken about, given the investment that it has in land across the country, we are looking at it delivering 1,000 housing units by 2020. So it's ambitious, it's big, you're the beneficiaries of that, but we said if that's not the case, then you have no reason to be known for anything. You have had a big dream. And the fact that we are where we are does not mean that the dream does not continue to live on. And in that regard, we are looking at the 5th flagship project being the launch of the Kiwegu Resort City, phase 1. So the master plan will have been done, and Kiwegu Resort City, the land that you have there, is nearly 1,000 acres, and it is at the beach. So you have a whole new beach that you will be opening up. And that will have, first and foremost, conference facilities, housing, places for people to entertain themselves, whether recreation or parks. And a picture of that has been provided in the booklet so that it gives you a kind of image of what that looks like. That will then be a big part of what is to be delivered from 2021 moving onwards. I want to reiterate again, what must we get right? We must have a network that is active, that is cohesive, one, and a very strong membership base. We must have good governance at FEP Holdings Board level, at the subsidiary boards. There must also be good governance. The management at both levels, which is the holding company and each of the subsidiaries, must also be accountable. At the same time, that good governance must be there also in the society. But even with that, there must be competent people to ensure that the promises that are in this document are fulfilled. And that is at the board and at the management level. The other thing is there must be a clear process of investing, a clear investment strategy that lays out this is the basis on which we will invest in this thing and not in this idea and not this idea. And lastly, there must be not only a commitment but a focus on achieving very clear returns. And here we are looking at making sure that the commitment that you had the president speak about of paying dividends is a real commitment. And that's why we have made sure there is a specific objective to address that. And that last bit then ensures that we keep our eye on the ball. We are keeping the main thing being a return to investors. What we did is that in an attempt to try and summarize the strategy, so there is a whole pictorial, a whole picture of the strategy on one page. And here we have reiterated the vision of individuals and communities in Kenya and beyond living dignified lives through generations is as alive today as when it was launched. And we have said whatever is in this plan is to make sure that vision comes to life. And for that reason, there are the 5 objectives that the president went through. Growing the total assets from 4.15 billion to 9.5 billion in 3 years. Notice that is more than double. And yes, there is going to be money invested in to ensure we achieve that, but it also means that certain things need to happen. Achieving an investment return of 20% per annum by end of 2021. My apologies. I know it reads 25%. I think when we ran the numbers, the original thinking was 25. We realized 2019 we will spend the whole year fixing all the things that need to be done. So that is actually 20%, and you notice that's what the president reaffirmed. What does that mean? If we invest in a number of businesses, they need to give us back at least 20%. Obtain at least 60% of the FEP holdings and subsidiary revenue from the FEP network. What that basically ensures is, in the past there has been even conflict between the society and FEP holdings. We are now saying, for you to achieve your objectives, you need to work together. And your success, the success of the society, is the success of FEP holdings and vice versa. The employees are pivotal to ensure that this is delivered. Getting the new board members settled, getting the new management settled, creating products that can then be sold to the market, all those are going to take time. So 2019, the results may not be great, but they're definitely going to be better. But by 2021, you're then looking at profitability. All this sounds very good, but we realized we need to get where the rubber meets the road, which is what exactly needs to get done. And the plan in this bit has been split into two. There is what we are calling the Fix and Stabilization Plan, which is 2019. And here we have identified 9 things that need to happen. The first, we need to fix how we govern ourselves. And here we have been very simple. We have said, let's reconsider and end up with a board that has the people who have the skills and experience in what we require. So we have invested heavily in hospitality. In hotel, we need people who, at least one person who understands hotels. We are investing in financial services. We need someone who has, whether it's banking or insurance experience, we need them in the board, and so on and so forth. So the first one, which is, as per the plan, going to happen in the first quarter, in the first 90 days, is reconstituting the FEP Holdings Board. At the same time, when that happens, the board then needs to reconstitute the board of the subsidiaries. They then need to ensure that whether it's Kisima, Citadel, Fountain Technologies, all the various subsidiaries, they now have boards that are competent and accountable. So there's a whole process of making sure this board comes in, is clearly trained to ensure they are very clear of their responsibilities. They then do the same thing at the subsidiary level. They appoint and they train. The appointment process of board members is through the advisory council. So the advisory council is the one that actually nominates them. Then at an AGM, they are appointed. So they have already been vetted by the advisory council. And that's for FEP Holdings. But the other thing that we have said is we also need someone who checks that we are doing the right thing. And this is an internal audit and risk department. We are talking of managing resources. So the other thing that needs immediate strengthening is the financial management. A new accounting system or the old accounting system revived, financial processes in place, and very clear reporting deadlines, and it's reporting to the boards. So if it's a subsidiary, if they are supposed to report every quarter, they report every quarter. And keep in mind, with an internal audit function, if it doesn't happen, internal audit, wanapiga firimbi. There was no report that was given. So that then is going to ensure that then things are running properly. The third one is turning around existing investments. And here we are saying there are companies that have very good potential. If you look at Fountain Technologies, they have won huge contracts. And I know the president has spoken previously about them. But they don't have money to deliver. So if they were able to deliver, they would be making money. Right now, they cannot fulfill because they don't have the money to fulfill the contracts. Yeah. Even as we were going through this process, they won yet another big contract. I think it was 2 or so weeks ago. So it shows you the potential that we are talking about the businesses have. Part of the rethinking is opportunities like what Kisima has. They have over 300 acres in Lukenya, but can't do much with it because they don't have the money to do anything with it. So those are the opportunities that we are looking at. So the first, under turning around the existing investments, is making sure two things. One, that they are properly resourced, both in terms of money and people, but also making sure that they run autonomously with very little interference, either from the leadership, in fact with no interference from the leadership or the board of FEP Holdings, so that because we have strengthened the way they are led and managed, then we can demand of them to give profit and a return. Part of that will also include assessing whether each and every of the businesses is viable. Because if it's not, there is no need throwing good money after bad money. The other bit is implementing the investment strategy that has been agreed on. That is very important, and I need not re-emphasize that. Realigning the FEP Holdings organization structure, the way we organize people so that we deliver results, those are some of the things. And really doing a very clear assessment. What kind of skills do we require? And this is from a management perspective. But every organization has their way of doing things. And there is a whole program that is proposed in terms of changing that culture. And that program is actually rebranded. It's what you're seeing there. FEP Mpya, re-strategize, rebuild, regain. So there's going to be a whole program run to ensure that even the new people who come realize that accountability, ethics, delivering results are part of the way, the FEP way of doing things. And as that is done, there's also going to be a continuous process of ensuring that by getting people on board and good people, there's a promise being made. So there's a continuous process of ensuring that those people are happy, are satisfied, are retained, because that's the only way that the results will be delivered. So at the end of the first year, where we are talking of fix and stabilize, there will be good reason for us to open the over-the-counter desk. What the over-the-counter desk does is it allows you to sell your shares. Right now, it's inactive, but at the end of that, there'll already be value. So those who are saying, I had very many shares, I want to sell some because the business is worth a lot more, that will now be possible at the beginning of 2020.